Assalamu alaikum. Today we're going to read a new story. You can find the story in volume 2, unit 3, lesson 1. The title of the story is Missing Daddy's Hugs. Before we start reading the story, there are some directions that you need to follow in order to know what are you going to do throughout this video. Please read the directions with me. Number 1. Watch the video that is related to the concept of the story to build a background about the story. 2. Read with me, set a purpose to find out what the story is about and why we are going to read this story. 3. Look at the illustrations of the story and describe them. 4. Read the questions and listen to the audio recording to answer them. 5. Follow up with the teacher for correct pronunciation, intonation, and fluency. 6. Practice reading the pages several times. 7. Refer to the practice book for application. Materials needed are a CD of volume 2, a laptop or CD player, reading book volume 2, and practice book volume 2. So, bring your reading book, practice book, and the CD and be ready. First of all, we're going to watch a short video that is related to the concept of the story. The video is about a resistance fighter. He's going to explain more about his important job. So let's watch together.
I am a resistance fighter. I have a very important job. I protect my people and my country. I sacrifice my life for them. My family and my children miss me and I miss them too. But they know that without my job, they cannot live safe and happy. They call me their hero.
After we watched this video, we learned that a resistance fighter has a very important job. He protects his people and his country, and he sacrifices his life for them. But when he's away, his family and his children miss him, and he misses them too. But they know that without his job, they cannot live safe and happily. And what they call him is their hero, because resistance fighters are true heroes. Now open your books on Set a Purpose to know what the story is about and follow up with me, please. Zahra's dad has an important job. He is one of the Lebanese resistance fighters. When her dad has to go away, Zahra feels very sad. She and her mom gather drawings, letters, etc. to send to her dad. But what Zahra misses most are her dad's bedtime hugs. How will she find a way to send hugs to her dad? So from Set a Purpose, we learned that the characters are Zahra, her dad, and her mom. And we're going to read this story to know how will Zahra find a way to send hugs to her dad, because hugs are the most things that Zahra misses. Now let's read the title and describe the pictures. The title is Missing Daddy's Hugs. Let's look at the picture under the title. Who are these? Yes, this is Zahra and her dad. What are they doing? They are hugging each other. Now pause the video and look at the pictures on your book, and based on the title and the pictures, set your own predictions about the story. What do you think the story is about? After you set your predictions, let's move on to page 173 and look at the picture. Who is in the picture? True, this is Zahra and her dad. What is Zahra doing? Zahra is standing beside her dad. It seems that they're taking a picture together. Why is her dad wearing such clothes? Her dad is wearing such clothes because he is a resistance fighter. Now, Listen to the audio recording for page 173, then answer these questions. Number 1. What fun things do you usually do with your daddy? 2. What is the girl's dad job? 3. What do the girl and her dad do together? 4. Why do you think Zahra's mom called her and dad life treasure? Before you start listening to the audio recording, please pause the video and answer number 1. What fun things do you usually do with your daddy? After you answered number 1, now it's time to answer number 2, 3, and 4. So first, listen to the audio recording, follow up on your book, and find the answers for questions 2, 3, and 4. After you listen to the audio recording and try to find the answers, I'm going to read this page to find the answers together with you. Follow up with me. My daddy. Daddy is a hero. He has a very special job. He keeps people in my country, Lebanon, safe. Daddy is one of the resistance fighters. Daddy and I do lots of fun things together. We can spend a whole day building towns out of blocks. We even pray and read Quran and dua together. My mom calls us her life treasure. Now let's answer number 1. What fun things do you usually do with your daddy? I usually read Quran with my dad, pray, play soccer, go to the supermarket for getting groceries. Of course, you may have different answers. 2. What is the girl's dad job? He has a very special job. Let's see what is his job. Zahra's dad is a resistance fighter. 3. What do the girl and her dad do together? Zahra and her dad build towns of blocks together, pray, read Quran and dua together. 4. Why do you think Zahra's mom called her and dad life treasure? I think that mom calls the girl and her dad life treasure because they are a blessing from Allah. I hope that your answers are correct. Now let's try reading these words before we practice reading page 173. Number 1, special. 2, resistance, fighter. Resistance, fighter. Resistance, fighter. Resistance, fighter. 3, building. 4, treasure. Let's read them again. Special, resistance, fighter, building, treasure. Now it's time to read the page. Follow up with me and read after me. My daddy. Follow up on your book carefully. Daddy is a hero. He has a very special job. He keeps people in my country, Lebanon, safe. Daddy is one of the resistance fighters. Daddy and I do lots of fun things together. We can spend the whole day building towns out of blocks. We even pray and read Quran and dua together. My mom calls us her life treasure. You can repeat listening to the video again and again to practice reading the page with correct pronunciation, intonation, and fluency. After you read page 173, Solve question number 1, page 148 on the practice book. Now, let's move on to page 174. Let's look at the picture. Who is in the picture? This is Zahra and her dad. What is Zahra doing? Zahra is hugging her dad. What time is it? It's bedtime, and you can look outside the window. It's night. How does Zahra feel towards her dad? Look at Zahra's face. How does she feel towards her dad? She loves her dad so much. Now, listen to the audio recording for page 174, then answer these questions. Number 1. What does the girl look forward to every day? 2. How do the stories end? 3. How does Zahra feel when she spends her time with her dad? 4. Why do you think Zahra's dad's job is a special one? 5. Why do you think her dad calls her God's blessing? Now, pause the video and listen to the audio recording for page 174 to answer questions 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. After you listen to the audio recording and you tried answering the questions, I'm going to read the page for you to answer the questions together. Follow up with me, please, on your book. But what I look forward to every day are the stories Daddy tells me at bedtime. They always end with a great big hug, good night. Good night, God's blessing, Daddy will say. Good night, Daddy, I say as I wrap my arms around him. Number 1. What does the girl look forward to every day? The girl looks forward to listen to the stories her dad tells her at bedtime. 2. How do the stories end? The stories end with a great big hug, good night. 3. How does Zahra feel when she spends her time with her dad? Zahra feels glad and excited when she spends time with her dad. 4. Why do you think Zahra's dad's job is a special one? This question is for you, not from the book. Zahra's dad's job is special because he sacrifices his life for his country and people. And you can have a different answer. Why do you think her dad calls her God's blessing? I think that her dad calls her God's blessing because she is a gift from Allah. Now let's try reading these words before we practice reading page 174. Follow up with me and read after me. Forward, forward, forward. Bedtime, bedtime, bedtime. The W is silent here. Wrap, wrap. Around, around. Forward, bedtime, wrap, around. Now let's read this page. Follow up with me carefully on your book. But what I look forward to every day are the stories Daddy tells me at bedtime. They always end with a great big hug, good night. Good night, God's blessing, Daddy will say. Good night, Daddy, I say as I wrap my arms around him. Read pages 173, 174 very well with correct pronunciation, intonation, and fluency. As I told you before, you can repeat the video several times to listen carefully to my reading.